Check. Hi and welcome to channel eTech. This is your host and technology instructor Arzan. In today's video we'll be learning about the updates, Windows updates. Rather, IT industry has already got a lot of updates, every day, day in and day out. There are lots and lots of updates which comes into picture. I categorize these updates in two types. One is the professional updates which we should have as a part of this industry, and secondly the updates which are related to the technicalities of our Windows operating system and other products. When an operating system is built up, it's never perfect on day one. There are lots of technology people who works constantly to improve the bad sectors, to improve the bugs, to remove the issues and to add up new features every day in Microsoft. Now, when an operating system is purchased by an organization, they also require such type of upgrades, updates, and whatever issues are removed. Means whatever patches or files which requires to remove the issues from the operating system. So for this part, Microsoft has a solution known as Wsus or Windows Software Update Service. So let's go to Knowledge Lab and start exploring about exactly how Wsus works and helps us to keep our system safe and enhance the performance. So guys, before we enter inside the Wsus technicalities, we will see what exactly the Windows system updates are. Well, we have a lot of client computers over here that can be a Windows 7 or Windows Server 2008 computers, or for that matter, any version of Windows operating system. Now, we have a feature called automatic updates. This feature is inbuilt inside each and every Windows operating system. If we enable this system or if we enable this setting, then our computers constantly or on timely basis check for updates with the Microsoft's online servers. Guys, there are some set of servers which are hosted by Microsoft online on the internet. These servers have updates. These updates are useful for Windows computers to enhance security or to improve performance. So, when our client computers connect to these Microsoft's online servers, then it checks whether there are any updates, any relevant updates which it can use for improving the systems, improving the performance and security. If there are any new updates which a client computer doesn't have, then the client computer will request for those updates from Microsoft's online server, and then Microsoft's online server will send the relevant updates to the client computers, and the client computers will be updated. In this way, Microsoft constantly releases some type of updates, patch, hotfix. There are different type of updates meant for different purpose. We are going to learn about the type of updates in this coming video itself. Now, these Microsoft online servers are directly hosted over internet, and internet, as we know, is a public network. Any computer or any person can access that particular server for taking updates. Particularly, these servers, or rather these Microsoft online servers which hosts the updates, are known as WSUS or Windows Software Update Service. At an enterprise level, there are many computers, rather hundreds of computers which are connected to each other in the network. If we continue the same activity or rather the same type of design which we just saw, like all Windows computers individually connect to WSUS server and then get updates from that server. If we continue the same activity in an enterprise network, then there can be major issues. To understand the importance of building an in-house internal WSUS server, we need to understand that what will happen if we don't implement the server in the network. There are two issues which can occur if we don't have internal Wsus server in our network. Imagine if we have 100 Windows 7 computers in our network and Microsoft releases a feature pack. A feature pack which is used by all Windows 7 computers which are connected on internet to improve the performance and security. So let's see the network over here. Here, as we can see, we can consider these computers as the 100 Windows 7 computers which are connected finally on the router. Now, this design is very common nowadays. Almost all the computers in the network are connected through switch and router, and there is one router which is connected at the end of the network. This router has a WAN link which is coming from ISP. This WAN link is responsible to carry the network traffic through internet and for different branch office connectivity. Now, this is the Microsoft Wsus server which is online, and as I said, Microsoft released a feature pack, and the size of that feature pack is 120 MB. Now, as we just discussed, that if we want our computers to receive updates and such type of feature packs or any other updates from Microsoft, then we need to have one property which should be enabled in our computers. That property is known as automatic updates, and automatic updates is turned on for all 100 Windows 7 computers over here. Now, imagine if each and every computer over here individually starts downloading that feature pack from Wsus server, then we will see the adverse effects which this WAN link will face. So, the mathematics is very simple in this case. As we can see, there are 100 computers, and each computer is downloading 120 MB of data. This comes around 12,000 MB of data, which is approximately equals to 12 GB. Just imagine, for downloading a feature pack which is one of those tasks which our computers perform every day by using WAN link. And if only for this small task, if WAN link has to download 12 GB of data, then obviously the network performance will go for a toss. It might happen that any other tasks which these computers are following, maybe connectivity with some another web server or using internet service for some other purpose, might slow down. And it might also happen that through this WAN link, other branch offices which are connected might also face connectivity issues. So as we can see, this is one of the issue, that is high utilization of WAN link which our networks face if it doesn't have an internal Wsus server. Another issue which we face in absence of Wsus server is uncontrolled implementation of updates. Now, Microsoft releases a lot of updates every day for our operating systems and for Microsoft products as well. But it is not necessary to install each and every update. It is because all updates are meant for some or different purpose. Okay, maybe some update is for improving the performance of a system which has a particular characteristics. Some updates are meant for legacy clients, some updates are meant for a particular software. So it is not important to update or install each and every updates which are released by Microsoft. Now, home-based computers are directly connected to Wsus servers. These computers download the updates and installs them. But if we follow the same activity in our enterprise network, then we can fall in a big time trouble someday. I will explain you how. Just imagine that we have 100 Windows 7 computers in a network. All of them are enterprise network computers which are connected to internet. Just assume that automatic updates is turned on and each and every individual computer is downloading these updates from Wsus server. Now, what will happen? One fine day, Microsoft released a feature pack, and obviously all these 100 computers also download and install the same updates in those computers. But next day morning, the users start experiencing problems. They saw that the application which they installed on the system, the financial application, started crashing down. The application stopped working in one computer after the other. Now why did it happen? It happened because the new change which was made in the system by the feature pack was not compatible with the financial application which was installed in the system. Now, the administrators took a lot of time to search the root cause, and finally the company suffered heavy losses. Now we talked about the issues and you already know the solution. The solution is internal Wsus server. What we need is just one or few more Windows Server 2008 computers to create an internal Wsus server. You need to understand one point, that the Wsus server which provides updates to other Wsus servers are known as upstream servers, and those servers which downloads updates from the Wsus servers are known as downstream servers. Now, apart from that point, what we need to understand is how patch management team works. Almost all the major companies has a department called patch management team. The patch management team is responsible to download all the updates from Microsoft Wsus server and store these updates in the internal Wsus server. The team then analyzes these updates and checks whether these updates are relevant for our network or not. If they are relevant, then if they can copy or remove such updates from the server and implement these updates in the user environment. They will test them in the user environment on special computers which are not directly on the production line. Now, after that, if they feel that there are no issues with the new update, they are only getting improvements with the system, then slowly and steadily they implement the same updates in our network, or rather the production environment. Like this, by implementing the internal Wsus server, the company or the network can only get improvements without any troubles. Wsus 3.0 is one of the latest versions from Microsoft for Windows Software Update Service. Now, as we know, for each and every software or application, we have some or the other prerequisites. Prerequisites is nothing but technical specifications which are mentioned, or the minimum technical requirements for any software or application to function. Now, Wsus being a service, being an application from Microsoft, it also has certain set of prerequisites which we'll be discussing right now. Now, the first is, from the server point of view, what do we need exactly? So, we can implement Wsus 3.0 with Windows Server 2008 R2 or Windows Server 2008 with Service Pack 1. It means that if we have only Windows Server 2008, which is not an R2 version, then we will require at least Service Pack 1 installed along with that. Next is, if we have a small scale business, then in this case we can also implement Windows Small Business Server 2008 or 2003. Last but not the least, we can also implement Wsus 3.0 on Windows Server 2003 with Service Pack 1. These were the prerequisites for the server. Now, as far as software overview is concerned, we have the list over here. The first thing what we need is .NET Framework 2.0. Now we know that for each and every software there are some or the other types of basic platforms or pre-services which are required to be installed inside. As we have JDK or Java Development Kit, we also have .NET Framework, So for Wsus 3.0, the software platform required or the framework which is required is .NET Framework version 2.0. Next is related to storage. Now, as we know that there are a lot of updates which we are going to download from Microsoft. Okay, in this case, these updates needs to be stored and managed properly. For storage and management of updates, we can either select Windows internal database, which is a part of Wsus itself. Okay, and if we have a huge organizations and multiple operating systems, multiple Microsoft products, where we are going to receive a lot of updates from Microsoft, then in that case, we can also implement a spatial or a different database server with SQL Server 2008 or SQL Server 2005 with Service Pack 2. Next is Microsoft Management Console 3.0. After that, it is Microsoft Report View Redistribute 2008. Now this is an optional component if you want to add up with your Wsus service. If you want to create reports related to updation of the systems, related to what updates the systems or Wsus server has downloaded, which updates are installed in the servers, installed in the network, then related to all these activities, if you want to create reports, then we can use Microsoft Report Viewer Redistribute 2008. Last but not the least, as usual for many other services and applications, we have been using our old friend IIS 6.0, that is Internet Information Service 6.0 or greater version. The next section shows that within IIS what things should be taken care of. Now over here, as per that, we should have 3 to 4 components what we need to install along with IIS. First is ASP.NET, second is Windows Authentication, third is Dynamic Content Compression, and the last is IIS 7 requires IIS 6 management compatibility. As I just said that we can implement IIS 6.0 greater version. So in that case, if our server has IIS 7.0, then additionally we have to install this component, that is IIS 6 management compatibility 2. The next set of prerequisites explains us about the hardware requirements. It says that the system partition and the Wsus partition should be NTFS formatted. Now obviously, since a lot of years we are using NTFS only, nobody uses FAT nowadays, but it's a prerequisite for hardware that your C drive or the main drive which has operating system and the partition or the drive which is going to store your updates, both should be NTFS formatted. Next is the hard disk requirements. It shows that the system partition should have minimum 1 GB of free space. The Wsus database, for purpose of Wsus database, we should have minimum of 2 GB free space. And finally, 20 to 30 GB free space is recommended on the system for future contribution of new updates which will be stored regularly on the system. There is one more point over here, that Wsus should not be installed on compressed hard disks. If we follow this particular prerequisites, then we will not face any errors or problems during installation of Wsus. So guys, if you want to implement and configure Wsus server in your network, then you need to understand that there are various types of updates which are released by Microsoft. I have a list of 7 important types of updates with me right now. As we can see here, critical, definition, drivers, security, feature pack, update rollups, and finally, service pack. So let's go with the list. The first one is critical updates. Microsoft performs a lot of research and development on its Windows operating system time and again, because whenever anything new is created, okay, whenever we create a new machine or an application or anything rather, obviously at the first point of time it is never perfect. a lot of research is done on that particular object or technology, and later on the enhancements comes into picture. For the same thing, Microsoft also performs a lot of research and finds out some critical information about its own operating system. While manufacturing, if there are certain bugs means manufacturing issues, which might lead to hindrance towards the performance of the operating system, or it might be a security threat. So, to resolve such type of manufacturing issues, Microsoft released patch files. If Microsoft categorizes or if it tags these patch files as critical, then these type of updates becomes critical updates. So critical updates is the first category of the types of updates, and which is generally recommended by Microsoft for all the computers and all the operating systems which comes under Windows family. Now we know that we have a very useful feature called Windows Defender in Windows 7 and Windows 8. Windows Defender works like an anti-malware and antivirus, which provides security against any malicious programs or codes which are entering into our system. Definition update is nothing but update related to security threats or new viruses or malwares which are created every day over internet. If we want our systems to be protected properly by Windows Defender, then the virus database, or what we call definition database, needs to be updated timely and properly in our systems. And this task is done by Microsoft's definition updates, which we can download from an online Wsus server. Microsoft operating systems are not created and sold every day in the market. It's because an operating system is something which is very wide, and it has a lot of architecture, designs, understanding, concepts, application, a lot of things involved inside that. But yes, IT is very dynamic. Every day, every week we find a lot and lots of updates coming into picture all the time. Now, Microsoft also releases or finds out a lot of new features with its own product and operating systems. And every day, or rather every week or every month, it has certain number of updates, a certain number of features which it has. Now what happens? Obviously Microsoft cannot accumulate all such features and wait till its next release. So Microsoft uses Wsus. Wsus, as usual, is for the rescue again. Like we have other updates which are flowing in the network, in the same way Microsoft releases its new features for already the current operating systems, current Windows systems which are already inside a lot of networks, already inside a lot of enterprise networks. So Microsoft creates feature packs to include certain type of features for your Windows operating system or Microsoft products, so that the current customers or clients can utilize these features with their current licensed operating system. There is also something known as update rollups. Update rollups is a collection of similar kind of updates together. Now this can be for a particular product, or this can be for a particular service. For example, if we are implementing a new architecture or a new service in our network, and for that particular thing the prerequisite says that we need to upgrade our IIS, for example, to a particular level with whatever latest services and components which are there inside IIS. So we can do one thing. We can download an update rollup for IIS. Update rollup, as I said, is a collection of updates, all type of updates like driver updates, hotfix, security updates, or feature pack. Like if there are any new components inside IIS, then all these things are grouped together as an update rollup for a particular service or a particular product. Whenever the number of updates reaches up to a certain limit for any particular operating system or for any high-end application like SharePoint services or Exchange server, then Microsoft releases a service pack. Service packs are also available offline sometimes, or you can also go to Microsoft's website and download the service packs which are relevant. Service packs helps our product or operating system to upgrade till certain point of limit where it can become compatible in terms of performance as well as security. It is also a single point of deployment which is very easy to deploy in the network because it is just one file. The only difference between update rollups and service pack is that update rollups are meant for a particular service or inbuilt application within an operating system or a product, whereas service packs are generally created for a particular operating system. Like as I said, update rollups are meant for IIS, but if you check about service pack, then service packs are meant for complete Windows 7 or complete Server 2008, which includes everything, all type of updates within an operating system. The management console of Wsus server is very useful. We can group certain computers for customized application of updating. If we want, we can set up certain scope of implementation as far as updates are concerned. If we want that we want to update only 50 computers in our network for maybe a particular feature pack, then we can do that by using Wsus console. As far as installation is concerned, we need to make sure that while installing Wsus server, we need to connect that server online properly with internet. There are many things which we need to understand about configuration. When we are configuring our Wsus server, we can set up various options. Like first of all, for storage, we can set up our storage space by installing Windows internal database, or we can use SQL Server 2008 or 2005 with Service Pack 2. After that, we can select what category of update we need to download from the Microsoft's upstream Wsus server. As we learn, there are 6 to 7 types of such categories like critical, security, definition, feature pack, etc. And after that, the last one is the scope of implementation as far as service or product is concerned. We can set up certain type of service. For example, if we are not using any type of backup features, then we can remove that particular part from the list of the updates or services so that we don't require backup updates to be downloaded from the Wsus server. By removing useless options from the list, we can save more time and resources. I believe that was enough information and guidelines about Wsus server. We will still explore more in the coming videos. Stay tuned to channel eTech. Keep watching.
Cube.